Crown and Cage is here. I love her. Crown and Cage, the Curriculum of Shadow, Book 3 of the Blueprint Trilogy. Let's do a passage. The devil let me start at the top of the page. For the spiral itself demanded purification. The blueprint could hold no illusion forever. Every false structure must eventually collapse, not as punishment, but as necessity. The devil did not move to protect the crown. He sat upon the throne with perfect stillness. His shadow-draped robes flowing around him, and his eyes glittered with the same fire that approached. He had known this moment would come. His task had never been to keep the crown forever. His task was to hold it long enough for the people to realize they wanted it destroyed. He had not stolen their sovereignty. He had only tested their willingness to surrender it, to relinquish, to forget. But now the spiral pressed inward, demanding that they remember. The fire rose not out of hatred, but out of remembrance. The flames touched the base of the throne first. They crawled upward, licking the legs, blackening the seat, consuming the foundation upon which the crown rested. The prophet's voice grew louder, panicked, offering reassurances that the fire was danger, not salvation. But the people felt otherwise. Something stirred in them, something older than fear, older than illusion. They recognized the fire not as destruction, but as cleansing. It did not come from outside, it came from within, from the blueprint itself, from the divine spark that could not be erased. The crown screamed as it burned, not with sound, but with memory. Every clause of the ghost contract shrieked as it dissolved into smoke. Each act of convenience, every time the truth had been traded for ease, every silence mistaken for safety, erupted in sparks as it was consumed. The cage rattled and cracked, the puppet strings curled into ash. The mirrors of the labyrinth shattered one by one. The people watched, some with grief, some with relief, some with terror. For to see the crown burn was to see one's own choices set aflame. It was to admit that they had built this thing together, and that its destruction was not only the devil's undoing, but their own. Still, the fire did not hesitate. It consumed without mercy, reducing illusions to smoke, contracts to ash, crowns to embers. Yet beneath the destruction, something unexpected gleamed. The crown's core, which had seemed empty, began to glow, not with counterfeit brilliance, but with raw light, fierce and indestructible. The devil watched silently, and in his eyes flickered something like pride, for the fire revealed what he had always known, that illusion could burn, but the spark within could not. That the soul's sovereignty, though hidden, could never be erased. I'm going to read you the introduction. This is the photo that's with it. There are stories that arrive like light, simple, radiant, without shadow. This is not one of them. This is the story that waits at the edges of silence, where shadows gather, where the current beneath creation hums in a language older than words. It is not a tale meant to soothe, but to unsettle. It is not written for the surface of the mind, but for the marrow that remembers what the skin has long forgotten. This is the mirror that does not flatter, the one that shows you both the crown and the chain, both the fire and the ash. To look into it is to see the face that you hide, the face that you fear, and the face that you were born to recognize. It is to see not only your own reflection, but the reflection of the one who made you, and the shadow he cast to reveal himself. For what if the adversary was never an adversary at all? What if the figure we named the devil was not rebellion, but refinement? Not rival, but proof? What if the spiral itself was written as an ordeal, a descent so absolute it could only be endured by sparks incapable of extinction? And what if the fire you fear is not meant to consume you, but to crown you? This is not history, it's not prophecy. It's the reckoning of remembrance, the dream told in symbols, the map whispered in surreal code. It's the place where silence speaks, where fire purifies, where shadow bows. It's the story of how God tested his own creation through the mask of the devil and how the spark survived. And so I say to you, step forward. Do not expect comfort. Expect fire, expect mirrors. Expect the crown that waits not upon your head, but within the flame. For you have walked here before and you will walk here again. The only question, eternal as the spiral, whispers still. Will you remember? Or will you forget? Crown and Cage.